So, Eva Alexandridis is the powerhouse behind the renowned luxury skincare brand 111 Skin. She began her professional journey during the Silicon Valley e-com boom before moving to London in the early 2000s. She has led the brand's expansion into prestigious retailers like Harrods, Harvey Nichols, Spencer K, Selfridges, Bergdorf Goodman, Violet Grey, and Sephora. Under Ava's leadership, 111 Skin has become synonymous with innovation, pushing boundaries of surgical-inspired skincare, and redefining modern luxury beauty. Beyond business, she also spearheads 111 Skin's charitable efforts, partnering with organizations such as Women for Women International and Positive Luxury. She truly is a power woman. Eva, welcome to the Power Woman series. We're so pleased to have you here.
Thank you so much. And this is an amazing introduction. I already feel more powerful than I've ever felt.
Well, you're powered with your eye patches. Your eyes will look very good. I've just got the little Lyma laser to power mine.
I do have the Lyma laser as well.
You've got the Lyma laser. I've got loads of them here, actually. So let's start. What does power mean to you?
I think to me, power has changed over the years. I am about to turn 50, and I think power now means actually being able to trust the people around you and delegate. And that gives me the power to know that my business is in good hands by being surrounded with strong people around me. I've learned over the years that it's very much not that decisions are not made by one person. It has to be part of a more coherent group. And I feel very empowered by having the right people around me.
I think actually giving up power is very powerful. You've kind of really hit something there. Like retaining power is actually a weakness. And I know that, I mean, it's something that I have to kind of fight with because it's intuitive to hold on to it, but actually releasing it with people that you trust and kind of getting more people involved is actually really powerful.
And actually, I had to go through a very specific example of exactly what you said. I was the CEO of the company for many years. I was always leading as a founder. And last year, I've decided to allow my chief operating officer to become the CEO of the company. So I went through
Wow.
like the different stages of relinquishing power, feeling good about it, at certain moments also struggling with it. But ultimately, I think it was absolutely the right decision, understanding my limitations and also understanding the capabilities of the people around me and kind of working together so I can free time to do the things that I am best suited to do in the company.
I mean, I go through the same things. It's kind of like realizing that when you start something from when it's just you at your kitchen table, or it's just like it's just you and kind of having to do everything, and then once you get to a certain stage, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do everything anymore, and actually you're not best placed to do anything anymore. And that was actually one of the most powerful pieces of advice that I was given. So I guess, what's the most powerful piece of advice you've been given? um, and who's been the most powerful influence in your life, and especially your journey so far?
I think over the years I've opened myself to receive advice from so many different people, and it's very hard for me to distinguish what is the most powerful advice. I would say that I'm very open to advice and I actually learn many different things along the way. I receive advice on daily basis. So I cannot really kind of say that it's one, but it's just being open to advice and trusting people that you can learn from their experiences. And if I have to look at powerful people in my life, I mean, I meet interesting, powerful people on daily basis, and through the business, I have been connected to powerful female leaders. But the people that I trust the most are people that are part of my family because I have seen them really kind of following a very strong journey. My grandmother, my mom, they're both were fighting to be independent, powerful women in their own right, and they have inspired me. But it's also they have taught me that you have to work hard. There's no
You do.
shortcuts.
You make your own luck. Nobody is lucky because they put themselves in that situation in the first place. If you don't put yourself in that situation, then you can never move on.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, my mom, for example, is an air hostess, and she always says that she was very fortunate to be selected because only the most beautiful women were selected to be air hostesses. But that involved her working so hard for so many years. One of the most demanding jobs, which is wake up in the middle of the night, go show up, do a flight, fly for 10 hours, come back. So yeah, there is a bit of luck there, but it's also all this hard work and many, many hours. And that has happened to me. I would say that there's many lucky circumstances in my life, but also I had to continuously keep working and improving myself in order to get the company to where it is today. And it hasn't been just a lot of lucky coincidences.
no. I guess you've been quite open about imposter syndrome, and what experiences has really helped you overcome this, and has made you feel most powerful throughout this evolution?
I think for me, it was learning through my mistakes to be able at some point to just realize, just listen to your intuition and just kind of let go of this feeling that you don't know. Everybody else knows more and better than you do. But I had to go through, let's say, 10 years of kind of listening to other people, hearing advice from other people, always feeling that I am not adequate enough, I don't know enough, I don't have enough experience. Well, ultimately, all throughout these years, when I was questioning myself, I was actually building more credibility in myself because I was learning so much from all the mistakes that I was making.
Do you think
So,
fear powers you on, like the fear
yeah,
of not being enough?
I think fear, but also mistakes. I think, having all these problems that have I had to encounter. You're a founder.
Yeah,
It's never just a straight
it's
line
never
up.
a straight line. No.
There's continuous, battles and problems and issues that you have to deal with. So I think those mistakes, even though at times just felt like devastating circumstances, they were actually helping me be equipped to make the right decisions in the future. So I would say it took me good 10 years to kind of feel confident in my experience and in my knowledge. And before that, I was always like this shy person and everybody else knows better. And you have all this, everybody's telling you, you should work with this advisor and that advisor. This person worked for a big strategic and this person knows better. And then, of course, in the beginning, I was just listening to them because
Yeah,
no one told me no, just listen to yourself and follow your guts. Everybody was saying no, you should take advice, and that's what I was doing. And at some point I realized this advice is based on their experience and nobody has the experience I have, and I've started kind of listening to my own knowledge and intuition, and it feels good.
yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
empowering. I guess realizing kind of, if you don't believe somebody can sell your story, it means that they can't, fundamentally. And yes, they might have sold, the stories of companies that you've admired and thought, oh wow, what a great outcome. But at the end of the day, it's like, if they can't sell your story, then it's just never going to work.
Yeah, they come with their own background and their own knowledge, and it's applicable to their experience. But you, as a founder, ultimately would put way more hours than anyone else in the business, and you have to be able to judge your perception of what you think it's right. In addition, you can listen to people. Of course, we want to have balanced opinion, but your opinion is super, super important and strong. And people that don't understand or appreciate that probably are not the right people for you to surround
Exactly.
yourself with.
No, that's very good advice. I guess you've grown One Skin into a global name. Everyone's going around with the eye patches that you are currently wearing that have saved many eyes from puffiness for big events, and day to day. But I guess, what were the biggest hurdles that you encountered in the early days? When you were kind of on a Harrods counter, or kind of the lessons from those journeys that would be universal to women carving out their own path today?
I have to put a little parenthesis here that I'm still learning, and there's lessons every day that it just doesn't get so much easier. But if I have to compare to my early days, I think the best advice is just to persevere, because if you're, especially you're doing the same thing, if you're pioneering something new, you have technology that hasn't been used before. We had ingredient that has not been used, had not been used before in skincare. So when you have something that's pioneering, it will take you longer, because it's easier to do something that it's just slightly better than what's out there, but it's much more difficult to establish new pioneering technology. And I think we had to persevere. Well, you mentioned Harrods. We launched in a tiny little counter in Harrods, and we had to educate people, and nobody was coming looking for us. We had to spread our own word. We were giving samples and hoping that people would come back and want to buy the product based on the results that they would achieve from just using a sample. So I would say it just knowing that it's going to take you longer and it's going to be a very hard journey, but just don't give up. It's one client at a time. It doesn't have to be massive overnight success.
Yeah, I think education is key. It's kind of like, how do you educate people? Like, if somebody wants to learn and they're in a lecture hall and, they've got a file and they're all ready to learn, but how do you educate somebody who's passing through a beauty hall? Do you know, it's like, especially like for us on like on a technology that's actually very complicated, that you can't sample because you can't start giving a £5,000 laser out to trial. So no, we've definitely experienced challenges in education and trying to make it very soundbitey and very like little nuggets that you can just take away. Has definitely worked for us.
But in a
Um,
sense, science is power. This is about power. And I think when you lead with science, it's very similar what you're doing and what we're doing. I think people I think these days people are, or consumers or clients are much more interested in science. So for us, it's slightly easier. It's not easy, but I think people are very intrigued with science, technology, and if you have the foundation and the fundamentals, you're already in a better position than I was 10 years ago, because we had the science, but people are not looking for science. They were
yeah,
just kind of they were
especially
more
not in a topical, maybe.
yeah.
Maybe in a laser technology because you associate it with power and but I guess with topicals you've had to change an entire kind of consumer mindset in
Narrative.
that, yeah, and it's not just hydrating, it's kind of doing so much more and how it can do so much more. um and I guess kind of what would you say to women who feel the pressure of filters and treatments and kind of fixing themselves? And as women, do we focus too much on fixing rather than actually preventing getting there in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, look, first of all, using filters, all my friends know, please do not put any pictures of me that have been filtered. I am who I am, and this is what it is. I don't believe in artificially enhancing your appearance. Second, I do feel that this is the era when people do a lot of treatments, and in a sense, you cannot stop that. I mean, this is a wave, and people they feel more empowered if they take better care of themselves and their skin. How far they take it, it's very personal. But I think it's also interesting that so much has been talked in the press about different procedures that celebrities are doing. And I quite welcome this level of honesty,
Yeah,
because prior to that, you would have celebrities starting product ranges and saying it's only due to my products that I look a certain way, and you, it's often it's
So,
not
well,
the
you've got a
case.
different nose.
Often it might not be the
Yeah,
case. So I think this
yeah,
transparency is good, but I also think that it's very important for people that do treatments to be able to go to the true experts. I think this wave of revolutionizing who can do treatments is definitely not right. When you can have somebody take a course for 3 days and
yeah.
be able to do Botox, when you have to really understand the facial aesthetics and the implications of doing something wrong. So there's a few things. First, I believe that you need to look at the credentials of the people that are doing the treatments.
Yeah.
We are a perfect example. I mean, Yannis is a triple board certified plastic surgeon, and he doesn't really have to be, but that's what he wants to make sure that he's accredited in all the top places in the world: US, Europe, UK. Our estheticians that do facials, they are not just we could have estheticians, but they're actually proper aesthetic nurses that work in our clinic and can operate lasers. So if you have a facial done, you actually have someone overly qualified to do your facial, but we rather have overly qualified people than underqualified. So it's a question of treatments are okay. I'm completely not against it, but make sure that you know who is doing your treatment. You have a duty as a consumer to ask these questions and also understand the implications, because there are some negative, you could get negative results, and you need to be aware of what and how the treatments are administered.
I think especially with so many treatments now being administered through injections, it's so important that somebody who is overqualified performs them as opposed to somebody that's just done and of course, and it's not fair on that person either. The laws should reflect it because the laws are there to protect the consumer and also the person administering it as well. It's not fair to put them in a situation of having to administer something that could end up going wrong, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, this has to do with regulations, like government regulations, and really understanding that skin is a living large organ, and it needs to be treated with a lot of serious considerations towards
Yeah.
it. So yeah, I mean, I think you and us, we're very science led, but we also do clinical research and trials, and safety for us is super important. Just I know that it is for you as well, and sometimes it could be the situation where people are, safety is not as a main priority, and it should always be the case.
I mean, kind of all those devices as well that really damage your dermis and actually scar it. And people just don't understand that actually, using technologies that really heat the dermis very, very, to the point that it scars is actually, yes, it will create collagen, but is it really creating the best blend of collagen fibers that are going to make you look younger instead of older? So there's so much that we can do to help empower people to make kind of science-led decisions, I guess. But kind of staying with the aesthetic industry, it's long kind of carried a stigma, I guess. And what do you think today's shift is with more celebrities that are talking about the work that they've had done? I know that you've touched on it before by saying that you'd welcome the transparency, but I guess it starts with releasing the stigma of having work done and not feeling like you've let yourself down, or that you've done something that's maybe cheating or something like that. But actually, no, do you know what, I've had a deep plane facelift, or I've had rhinoplasty, or I've had a tummy tuck, or whatever it is. It's kind of releasing the stigma on that to actually, if you buy a new outfit, it's pretty obvious that you bought a new outfit. And by the same token, if you've had work done, maybe we've got to do more to help release the stigma of having it done, and do more to help people feel comfortable about saying it.
Yanis is American board certified surgeon, and he studied in the States, and he always felt that in the States people are more open
Yeah, they
towards
are.
treatments that they're doing. They're sharing, they're willing to share their experiences. And I think here in the UK, people are much more reserved. They usually, like to take time away for other people not to see that they had a treatment. So it's almost like a different cultural shift happening. And I think the Europeans are starting to be a bit more open versus Americans have been open about it for a longer period of time. And yeah, I do open the transparency. I mean, I hope it's also not going to make people have surgery
Yeah.
if they don't feel like having surgery. But people do follow celebrities, and hopefully, if they do want to have surgery, it's for the right reasons, because it's not because you want to look like someone else. It has to be
You just want to
about
feel
you.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, about you, your circumstances. So in a sense, it's probably better that they are speaking openly about it, but I hope it's not gonna start just like a massive wave of doing things simply by following like a celebrity trend.
No, I mean, you've always got to do everything for the right reason. That's like completely, that's rule number one. I guess thinking about, you as a female entrepreneur, were there moments where you felt completely powerless? And I guess through those moments of feeling powerless, which of those moments have resulted in feeling your greatest power?
Yeah, I mean, running a business, unfortunately, you do have, it's not always a yes on the other side. People sometimes tell you no, and you have to learn to live with rejection and to know that it's really not about you or the business. Sometimes it has to be with the overall circumstances or global
Or the
economy.
timing, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, or the timing. So yeah, I do occasionally feel powerless, but I do try to always kind of reverse engineer and understand why I have felt that way, and if there's anything that can be done, and having kind of intelligent conversation with myself, and understanding there's always solution to every problem. So I think running a business, you do have these moments, and you have to kind of like talk to yourself and just kind of have this conversation internally that you can do it, and there's always another solution. uh, on the flip side, I feel like I definitely feel powerful more than I feel powerless. I feel less and less powerless and more powerful. And the powerful side of things comes from knowing that I have built a brand. I mean, of course, alongside my husband and my team, but a brand that it's here to stay, that it has passed like the test of time, because we have been running this business for more than 10 years, and we have steadily have been growing in our distribution and how many clients we can reach. So that's a very powerful moment when I still feel kind of really positively impressed even when I go to the stores. Sometimes I walk into Harrods and now we have a big counter. And I remember when we had the little shelf, or I would go to the Bulgari Hotel or the Four Seasons, some of the beautiful spas, and I see the brands, and it's on the menu, and I have to remind myself,
You created that.
there's a
Yeah.
client that wants to have this
Yeah.
treatment, and the reason why it's on the menu is because more and more people want to have this
Yeah.
treatment. So yeah, I mean, you do feel the power, and it comes from positive reinforcement from the community and from the clients. And we sell millions of products, and I know that most of the time people feel confident by using our products, so it does give you this sense of purpose.
I guess at the end of the day, you only carry feelings with you. Feelings are the only memories that you carry with you. So if something makes you feel better, then ultimately that's the biggest treat that you could ask for. Um, I was looking at your Instagram bio, and you say, wherever you go with all your heart. Can you share why that's your mantra and why it's important to you and how it shapes your journey?
It's very important, because I don't think I would be where I am. I wouldn't have the business that I have if I had not followed that mantra, because you just have to allow life. You have to allow yourself to kind of be present and take the opportunities that life gives you. And I grew up in Eastern Europe. I ended up going to university in San Francisco, as you mentioned, and I just, happened to be in a very special time in history when it was the Silicon Valley boom. So I allowed, this moment to shape me. And I think after that, I started the business because I knew we had something pioneering, and I knew we had something that didn't exist before. So you kind of have to go. This mantra is so, so special to me because it just allows me to capture the opportunities in the moment and not always think where I want to be in the future. It's kind of like
It's
grounds me
very
to try
ground.
to do.
Yeah. I always try
Yeah.
and do something. Half the time I fail, but like I always try and do something that grounds me in that moment, either like feeling some fabric around me or like looking, just focusing on a view or smelling a smell or something that just grounds me in that moment. And I think the more you do that, the more it helps you in a way. I guess like you've got a Lima laser, so you use the Lima laser. I've got all
Yes.
sorts of Lima
You have
lasers
the
here.
you have the
I've got the
serious, the
pro, yeah,
pro.
yeah, the pro. No, but this one is very good. This one is very good. And how do you use it? So do you use it? What parts of your body do you use it on, or your face, or what do you use it for? And what products out of your collection do you feel it works very well with?
I have it on my desk and I just use it. I don't know if that's the right, if this is the right way of using it, simply because it's so non-invasive, you don't really feel it. So it's very therapeutic for me. I use it on my neck. I
I
use it
do
on,
this one for my jaw. I just like do this. I just like go up and down, up and
yeah,
down, like up and down my jaw, and just this is
this
I
is,
can know. Is it the platysma muscle that's here? Whatever the muscle that's here, I just kind of go over it like
I just
this.
know that that muscle is actually like
It's
going
an
down with
important
age.
one. It's an important. This muscle loves gravity. It's
Yeah,
addicted to
exactly.
gravity.
I
Anything to
know.
pull it up.
I know.
Um,
I'm very happy with like the upper part of my face, but I feel like the lower part of my face is not really listening to me lately. So
no, well,
anything
I
that
think
can help.
I'm 53. No, sorry, I'm not 53. I'm 52, but I feel like 53 sometimes. So it does kind of go down. And what do you want your power legacy in beauty to actually be?
I want my power legacy to be connected to credibility. I believe that so many products out there exist for maybe not the right reasons, like created on a boardroom or, people kind of deciding that this is a lucrative place to be and they just want to play in that space. And I think us and other brands that lead with science are really paving the way for the future. And I hope that people remember 101 Skin as a brand that it's credible, scientific, but also beautiful and sensorial. And I think that's part of my legacy. I kind of brought my husband's science and knowledge and implemented it together with more experiential, sensorial. How do the products feel? How do they smell? The touch, the feel. So I hope my legacy would be remembered as someone that introduced serious science, but also thought about how we as women feel and wanted to enhance the experience.
Yeah, I guess kind of it's so important, the feeling aspect of anything. I mean, this is just like a clinical device. It's a piece of surgical equipment, but it's kind of the way it's packaged and the way that the brand lives and sits within the kind of the ecosystem that is the difference between it being just a cold piece of surgical equipment or something that you want to have in your life and feel as though you want to kind of take it with you. So no, I
Yes,
definitely get
because
that.
I agree because this is the science should be non-negotiable. We should not put anything out that doesn't meet the high scientific expectations. So you have the science and then the fact that it feels substantial, and it's also the design. It's also very important. We live at this day of age where people want everything. So why just offer them one side? Why give them a laser that it's ugly but it's working when you can have a laser just like your device? I think women, you should, if you cater to women, you have to satisfy all of their senses. So one is their quest for beauty, which you lead by science, but then also it's how does the product look and feel, because you should also fall in love with the products around you, and it should be science, but it also should be sensorial and beautiful. And I love that it feels so substantial and solid. It doesn't feel heavy, it just feels solid,
Yeah.
substantial.
And how do you kind of balance being a mom and a family, you know, kind of running a family, running a business, kind of motherhood, businesshood, everything and everything in between?
I think the balance gets better because I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, these days, kids are busier than adults. So, in a sense, I'm very happy that I have my career because my children are busy from early morning to late evening. So, in a sense, we are kind of following the same path. We are all busy in our own way. Hopefully, they're immersed in education and building strong relationship with friends and learning how to cope with life, and I'm busy building having a career. But I think time wise, we meet, we spend time on holidays, we're together in the mornings, together in the evenings, but during the day we really, I don't think they need me or I need them. And I think my children are now at this age, 13 and 20, where it's a different stage. But when I had smaller children, it was much more difficult.
Yeah, no, I get my son is only 3, and I do, his little eyes when I leave in the morning, and he's like, "Mama, don't leave," and it's kind of like you it tugs on your heartstrings, but then you realize that actually them going to you can't be with them anyway. They're at school, so
That's why you
you couldn't
need
be with
you
me.
need help. I think you need
Yeah,
help at this stage in order for you to be dedicated to your career. And I'm sure you travel, you need people that you can trust at home. I had my mom and grandparents, but I also had people helping me. But at the same time, even at 3, you want them to start making social
yeah,
interactions, and you don't want to keep them home all
no,
the time. Yeah, you have to
no,
let them
no.
be.
My daughter is very strong. She's a very, very strong 13-year-old, um, who I definitely learn from every day. So no, it's incredible watching children grow up and become their own little person. You
Oh,
let them
you
do
live by
whatever they're going to
example.
do. Well,
Yeah,
thank you so, so much for joining me today. I love 111 Skin. It's just, I guess, like, the packaging. I love the eye mask things. I'm always wearing those eye masks. They just plump your eyes. It's brilliant. They're
oh,
magic.
like everything else for us, it's all about the science. So they look glamorous and cool, but there's a lot of technology and science behind it, just like your product. So yeah, thank you so much for. I know we met through mutually using our own products that we have created. So it's been fantastic to see your
No.
journey.
Oh no, thank you so much. And the same to you. May you only have success.
Thank you so much.
Brilliant. Thank you. Take care.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.